High City, right here on ibtv.us and Roku TV. Evan Herzog of the Fight Magazine, Albert Rosales of Grinders Fitness, UFC Orlando last night. The big takeaway as everybody woke up this morning and all through the night, the discussion was Jeremy Stephens and Josh Emmett in the main event and the finish. Jeremy Stephens gets the win, but it's kind of clouded in a little bit of controversy, if that's fair to say. Maybe a lot of controversy we'll see going forward. There was a knee thrown to a grounded opponent. There seems to have been some confusion on the ruling in Florida as well. What did you think? I mean, I thought it's kind of a bummer for Jeremy because he showed early, he was dropped early, survived, and showed a lot of heart in the fight and showed just why he's like a complete savage. But it's all being kind of clouded over by this knee.
Well, first of all, you got to give kudos to the matchmakers because this fight is an excellent, excellent fight to have. Both of these guys hit like Mack trucks, and they showed it last night. Jeremy Stephens had to overcome some early trouble. He got dropped in the first round, recovered from that, came back out in the second round, and just looked like a monster. Josh Emmett, to his credit, the guy is the guy since dropping to 145 has dropped every single opponent that he's fought. That includes Jeremy Stephens now. You know, that's an amazing thing.
Most of them
think about that.
Go out, too.
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, it's just, the guy is such a talent. Now, as far as the fight goes, Stephens drops Emmett, and Emmett scrambling to get up. He gets hit with an illegal elbow. Okay, it was directly in the back of the head. It was... That's
to start things.
Correct. So, it was a really, really bad elbow, but in Jeremy Stephens' defense, in the rules meeting before the fights, the referees tell you all the time, if you are a down fighter and you're trying to avoid getting damage, if you're turning your head, we're going to let that slide. You know, you got to, that's not intelligently defending yourself, turning your head so you illegally get hit, you know. So the fighters know this going into it. Obviously, if you're injured, if you're hurt already, maybe your thinking isn't really working too well from there, but you know, he did get hit with a couple of actually really bad illegal elbows, and then getting up to scramble, then of course the knee. I really feel like the knee just kind of grazed him. I don't feel like it really landed clean, but you know, hey, I wasn't the one in there. You know, Emmett knows how hard he got hit and didn't get hit, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go with the appeal. I can't see them overturning the fight because commissions just really don't do that too much, but we'll see.
And, you know, I thought Dan Mergliotta actually, maybe he didn't notice the elbows too, because in defense of Emmett, with how they give you the rules before the fight about turning into it, he was already facing, you know, face down to the canvas, not all the way down, but he was in that position. It's not like he was, you know, it's not like Stephens had top position and Emmett rolled to his stomach and got hit with an elbow. So do you think there is, no matter what Jeremy says, how do you intently try to throw an elbow to the front or to the side of a head when someone is facing face down? I mean, do you think you need to show a little more discretion there?
I think so. As a fighter, I think at that point you gotta aim your strikes. You gotta pinpoint your strikes at that point. You know, I mean, we always tell our fighters, you know, if you get somebody hurt, don't try and be perfect with your punches, you know. We tell them to hit the hands, you know, if they're covering their ears, whatever, hit the hands, you know, just stay busy, keep working. But when they're turned that much and you're throwing an elbow down, they're facing that way, you're going to hit the back of their head. So you kind of, what you want to do is, you know, it's harder to do in the heat of the moment, but what you want to do is you want to aim for the ear. They always tell you if you're touching the ear, then it's a legal strike. If you're catching part of the ear, then it's a legal strike. But elbows are really tough to do from there. Jeremy Stephens is a killer. Like, he goes out there and tries to finish everybody. So I understand why he's throwing those elbows. Like, he wants to get that fight over with. So it's kind of a hard call. You know, I can see both sides of the story, but I don't see them overturning this fight at all.
Isn't this, without kind of sounding almost morbid about it, don't we kind of need fights like this going forward and things to happen like this so we can have these types of discussions? Because the rules, if you're just getting into MMA and you're like trying to get someone hooked onto MMA from one weekend to the next in the UFC, people are confused about the ruling. Right. If someone's super new to it, they're watching it and they're like, okay, I got it. I think I got these sets of rules. I mean, there's a ton of them.
Right.
And then the next week it's in a different state where maybe they haven't accepted the new unified rules. It's just confusing. And it's been this way since the start. You know, the 12-6 elbow, illegal, should be legal in my opinion. And how, because of how it was written in. Big John wrote about it, about how back in the day, one of the guys that was on the commission board writing rules after, you know, the first few UFCs where there was only a couple rules. No eye gouging, right. No biting.
No fish hooking.
Yeah, and there was no weight classes at the time. So when they decided to bring a commission together and make some rules, this man his son was in karate. He went to an exhibition and he saw a guy break like a stack of 6 cinder blocks with the 12-6.
Right.
And was like, oh my God, if that happens, somebody will break their skull or their spine. But the shots to the back of the head into the spine are illegal already anyways.
Right.
So why it's always going to be confusing. Only 25 years really into this thing, you can up kick someone, but you can't kick someone down. You know, in Pride we saw these were the old Pride rules that you could do that, and now it's just different and it's hard to understand. So I think that it's almost as bad as it is. I don't want people to get hurt, but it's almost needed so we can discuss it.
Honestly, like I think we're going to continue to have these problems, and I think the fault lies with the athletic commissions. So, you know, what's the point of calling it unified rules, the new unified rules,
exactly,
when nobody's unified? So
exactly.
The rules, you follow the rules in California, you follow the rules in Las Vegas or Nevada, but then you come to Colorado and it's a different set of rules. You go to Missouri and it's a different set of rules. You go to Florida, it's a different set of rules. So are they really unified? Why are you calling it unified rules when there's only, you know, a handful of states that use it? You know, I really think, I think the fault lies with the athletic commissions. Like, they have to, I don't know how you would go about doing it, but they have to have a meeting with all the commissions and just say, you know, everybody needs to be on the same page. Because as fighters and as coaches, we look at this and you're putting your fighters' lives in danger. Okay, somebody doesn't know the rules, somebody's acting in the heat of the moment and they're not following through, you know, or maybe they're just not thinking clearly. All it takes is one bad strike, somebody getting really hurt, somebody dying, heaven forbid something like that happens. And it's all because you've got different rules from state to state. And some of these guys fight a lot. Like Jeremy Stephens just fought, what, two months ago?
Tops, yeah.
And he's fighting again. So you go from that state to the next state and it's a different set of rules. Then you come up with this stuff where people are getting plowed with illegal strikes, but 2 months ago they were legal in another state, you know. So I just feel like the confusion needs to be cleared up, and I feel like that lies with the athletic commissions. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get that fixed, is if the athletic commissions get together and they all agree to be on the same page.
Do you kind of think maybe along with an athletic commission, excuse me, a fighter, at some point these guys have to unionize? I mean, it just, to me, going to the board, you're going to have people making rules, right, in these commissions that a lot of them, let's be completely honest, a lot of them are holdovers from boxing.
Right.
And all they've known is boxing. And so we don't have people, you know, Joe Rogan has said, even down to the judging, how it would be better to have a panel, a scoring system of like 1 to 100, and have the best Muay Thai judge, have the best jiu-jitsu judge, have a group of them. But a lot, and it's no offense to boxing judges, but I know for a fact that there's judges here in Colorado, without naming names, that have judged big-time UFC events here that only are looking at striking, and I have literally heard out of their mouths that, really, you want me to gratify a takedown? It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
That is a problem.
Right.
That is a problem. Because a takedown is a big deal. It's not just called fighting, it's mixed martial arts. That's all of the arts. And when you have commissions and stuff like that, you need the fighters to have a say. A unified say. And, you know, only 25 years in, it's like leather helmets in NFL. You know, we're at that stage. You know, goalies still not wearing face masks. We're at that stage of mixed martial arts, and I think we'll see some changes going forward. So,
well, the issues we're going to have there is, you know, we've heard all the talk about the Muhammad Ali Act and all these unions and this kind of stuff, but until really
big time fighters have to
so
step up.
Exactly. So the problem is the UFC doesn't want any of that. Okay, they don't want
Not at all.
So if you're a UFC fighter and you speak out and you say you want this union, you want this, you want you start talking about the Muhammad Ali Act, all that stuff, you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself you're not going to fight within the next 6 months to a year, because they're going to sit you on the shelf for a little bit. Because, you know, why do they want that? They don't want that. Fighters get a union going, they start getting paid more, other stuff happens. How does that help the UFC? You know, in their pockets. You're not really helping the UFC. So, and since they're the main game in town, you know, what else are you going to do? You know, like it's hard. It's hard.
Until someone like with the stature of like Conor McGregor, like was like, okay, I'm going to lead it, but why would he? He doesn't need the union. Right. He gets away with everything he wants. But that's something I think we should talk more about going forward. That's going to do it for our first segment. Catch Takedown MMA on ibtv.us and Roku TV. Evan Herzog, Albert Rosales, Takedown out.